Hello and welcome to Sport This Morning. I'm Cecilia Amogbe.
And I am Tayo Salam.
All right, it's 11 days to the commencement of the Africa Cup of Nations, and the Eagles camp opens today.
And we're expecting all of the players as soon as possible. The likes of Taiwo Awuni in Nigeria already. A lot of the players are actually in Nigeria. Kenneth Omero somewhere around as well. So by the end of today, we're expecting to see some of the Super Eagles players in camp to start preparations officially for the AFCON 2021 in Cameroon early next year, January to be precise. Also on the program, still talking football, Ademola Lookman was the hero for Leicester City, coming off the bench to stun Liverpool as the Foxes prevailed 1-0 in the English Premier League.
Finally, they got something of Liverpool, especially after losing out in the EPL Cup. Also on the program, LeBron James and Russell Westbrook had to combine for triple doubles
Yeah.
for them to record a win after losing 5 games. So that skid of 5 games losing run is over, and for the Rockets, it's 5 for them losing run.
Incredible stuff, Cecilia. You ever thought that this particular Lakers side will ever go on a 5-game losing streak?
It happened.
Yeah, it happened, but then it's over now thanks to the combination of LeBron James and Russell Westbrook. We're going to come back and give you details of these and more later on the show. But we're going to start off with the NBA regardless.
The results.
We have results from games that played early this morning. 8 matches in total. We have all of the results for you and the details. We're going to run through them right about now, starting with the Bucks against the Magic, where it was Orlando that lost that game 110 to 127. Giannis Antetokounmpo with 28 points in that victory for Milwaukee. Elsewhere, the Wizards lost against the Miami Heat 112 to 119. Tyler Hero coming off the bench to score 32 points, while Jimmy Butler finished with 25 points and a career best 15 assists as a Heat held off the depleted Wizards 119 to 112. There were also victories for the Philadelphia 76ers led by Tobias Harris's 19 points, 12 rebounds and 10 assists, his first career triple-double as they defeated the Toronto Raptors 114 to 109. In that game, Joel Embiid scored 36 points and grabbed 11 rebounds. Our star game, our feature match, is between the Lakers and the Rockets, 132 to 123. That's our end there. We'll come back to that game shortly. Let's move on to the Timberwolves against the Knicks. Timberwolves lost 88 to 96. The Knicks overcoming a cold shooting night to eke out that victory against the Timberwolves, while the New Orleans Pelicans defeated the Cavaliers 108 to 104. Garrett Temple and Herb Jones leading the way for the Pelicans in that victory. Ricky Rubio fortunately got hot for the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Warriors were beaten by the Denver Nuggets 89 to 86. Steph Curry in that game becoming the first player in NBA history to make 3,000 career 3-pointers. And Cecilia, this is why you keep saying no one is going to catch his record.
No one is catching it at all. But it was really a bad one to say for the Golden State Warriors, because they would have loved to win that game. I mean, 157 straight games with a triple.
It's ridiculous.
How do you do that? And then Nikola Jokic, reigning MVP, decided to spoil the incoming MVP. Spoil his parade, rain on it, and they lost that one 89 to 86. But I think it was really a good game for the Denver Nuggets. Yeah, indeed. It was a good game for them. Just on that day, Steph Curry and the likes were really not at their best. Steph Curry at the end of the day ended up with 23 points. But in that one, he had 5 triple-doubles. Yeah.
So Steph Curry, not a great shooting night for him at all, but still keeps finding a way.
Got 6 turnovers
to make this
That's very unlike him.
Yeah, very unlike him. Anyways, last but not the least, the Kings and the OKC Thunder ended 117 to 111 in favor of Sacramento Kings. Tyrese Haliburton with 24 points and 10 assists. So we're seeing pictures already from our feature match between the Lakers and the Rockets. And like we said at the start of the show, was LeBron James and Russell Westbrook combining for triple doubles in that 132 to 123 victory over Houston. James had 32 points, 11 rebounds, and 11 assists for his third triple-double of the season. And it was his fifth consecutive game where he's scoring 30 points or more. We're coming back to our top performer later on. We're still talking about the game between the Rockets and the LA Lakers. I don't know why they're getting excited in this.
When you're talking about LeBron James, sometimes
it's James effect, right?
James effect. That's what it does to everyone. I mean, you're just looking at this guy. He's 36 and he plays as if he's 25. You know, at his very peak, it's ridiculous. And when the questions come to say, "When are you leaving?" I'm like, "Okay, I'm not ready to leave the stage yet." But this is a player you're thinking is going to play until he gets to 40 or even above that, because we've seen with some really big players, you know, coming back at 40. Well, on this particular game, Russell Westbrook had 24 points, 12 rebounds, and 10 assists. And it wasn't just the only one having 20-plus points. Carmelo Anthony also contributed in his own way. I love the fact that these big boys are actually coming to the party right now. Carmelo Anthony came off the bench, had 24 points, also having 9 assists. That's a huge one for him.
Big results for the LA Lakers, because the longer this particular losing streak goes on, then it starts to become a serious problem, a crisis, and also they had to end it as soon as possible, and they had to come against the Houston Rockets. We're going to get post-game thoughts now coming from LeBron James. But first, we get to listen to Carmelo Anthony.
Well, the ball is still in his hands. That's not something that's just going to, his scoring ability is not something that's just going to dissipate overnight, or he's going to lose that. I think it's easier now, you know, the way that the game is being called, the way that there's no, like tonight, there was no traditional bigs. There was no bigs, you know, down there. So each game is different, going up against different teams. Different teams have a scheme, different schemes for him. But as far as scoring the basketball, I think that's one of his most underappreciated aspects of his game. He's always been able to score the basketball, and you know, now he's just taking advantage of that, especially when he's at the 4 and he's at the 5 and he's setting picks and he's rolling to the basket. He's a big target, and you know, you got to find him. He's taking advantage of that.
I think I've taken pride over the course of my career on being able to, you know, play 5 positions, or at least know, you know, all 5 positions, knowing the commands, you know, knowing, you know, if I'm, you know, guarding a big, what is the coverage? If I'm guarding a small, what's the coverage? You know, and you know, always trying to keep myself in a position where I could be anywhere on the floor. So tonight calls for our team and calls for me to start at center, and you know, and I just tried to you know, be ahead of a lot of plays, keep my guards and forwards alert of actions that was going on behind them, and also you know, just try to keep my energy level up throughout the course of the 40-minute game.
That's the King James right there. Interestingly started that game at the center position.
Yes.
The natural centers in the team, Dwight Howard and DeAndre Jordan, didn't even play at all. And for LeBron to go on and put up a triple-double.
It's the first time he's doing that.
It's amazing. He shows he's an all-round player, can play all 5 positions, you know, pretty well. And we've talked about longevity.
Already.
We need to go all over again. That's why he's in the conversation now for the greatest of all time. No doubt whatsoever. Even if he never wins a ring again, it's not going to take anything away
from what he has achieved. And that's why, you know, when else he keeps saying test some players for alien DNA, he's one of those that you need to test. But let's play it out for the Rockets. Coach Steven Silas is no longer smiling. He's lost 5 in a row now.
Yeah, they're a veteran team who executed like a team like that should execute down the stretch. The James Westbrook pick and roll, where we were switching it, and LeBron was pinning us and getting finishes. We were trying not to switch and go under. We were trying a bunch of different things, and then you know, where LeBron rolled 2 or 3 times, and we didn't have a low man on that one. So. Yeah, they out-executed us down the stretch, and their great players had to play great.
He's making that face again. I mean, okay, yeah, it's understandably, especially when they had an 8 run and he was really excited about that. But when you're facing Lakers that have been on the losing streak, obviously they want to beat any team that's a little bit weaker than them. We know the short-handed Lakers are some of the players that's coming back right now, but we don't know where Frank Vogel will be coming back. He's still out.
Yeah, apparently he's close to returning. Clearing NBA's safety
protocol
and health protocol. Okay, so we'll be seeing Frank Vogel on the bench very soon.
All right, we can't wait to have him back.
Before we leave the NBA, let's take a look at the top performers. The players that have stood out for the teams are starting with the King James there, of course, 32 points, 11 rebounds and 11 assists for the Lakers. Joel Embiid was very good on the night as well. 36, 11, and 4.
Knocking out Toronto Raptors.
Indeed. Franz Wagner, our rookie for the Orlando Magic, 38, 7, and 3. Of course, his best performance in his career when it comes to shooting the ball. And last but not the least is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander for the OKC Thunder, 33, 5, and 5. All right, that's it for the NBA. Let's get on with the show now and start to talk about the Nigerian Professional Football League. Match day 3 is upon us, and we're all excited to see some big games that will go down later today. Cecilia, I don't know which one are you looking forward to watching the most?
Okay, Enyimba Rivers United, of course. Get me on that because this guy started on a very high note, especially Enyimba was like, who gave the luck of the draw hasn't been favorable.
Well,
but them, they've crossed the 2 hurdles. They've handled it so well. The 2 derbies they had, the one, both, I mean, Rangers, Abia, and now Rivers United will be coming to Aba. We'll see what's going to happen in this one. MFM and Plateau United are coming to Lagos against MFM. Aqua United and Gombe United, Remo Stars and Nassau United. Remo Stars also watch us for these stars because 2 games, 2 wins, 5 goals, none conceded. All right, we'll see how far they will go. Heartland and Dakada will also be in action today. Katsina United and Kano Pillars, Sunshine Stars and Rangers, Quarry United and Wicked Tourists, Lobby Stars and Shooting Stars, Niger Tornadoes and Abia Warriors. These are the games for today on match day 3 of Nigeria Professional Football League. And we will not be doing all the talking alone because Promise Etim is joining us from Uyo. And of course, we're going to start with his own team. Aqua United have started well. They won their first game convincingly at home. They went away and picked up a point. And now they're back home for a win. Promise, season greetings to you and good morning.
Yeah. Good morning.
It's great to have you join us.
Good morning, Cecilia.
Good morning. Let's just quickly...
I think it's going to be a very interesting game for Aqua United because the former assistant coach of the team, chief coach of the team, Aliyu Ziberu, is now in charge of Gombe United.
Okay.
And he knows these players in and out, particularly the ones that played when he was also in charge of the club alongside Abdul Maikaba. So the likes of Dennis Mia, Ubon Friday, I mean, you look at some of these players, he knows them so much, and it will be like homecoming for him, Aliyu Ziberu. So it's going to be a very difficult game at the same time. I've seen a few highlights. The first match, they won, and also the game Gombe United played against Nassau United on match day 2. It is, I would say, it's a much improved Gombe United side, and Coach Aliyu Ziberu likes playing the tiki-taka sort of game, the same like Abdul Maikaba. It's going to be a very interesting game if you ask me. I just expect the best today from Gombe United. It will be a roller coaster for Kwa United.
Interesting. I mean, having a former assistant coach coming home to play the team he was with before. Usually games like that can go either way. But it seems you're so confident for Aqua United, especially the way they started the season. We saw what the governor did beginning of the season, motivating the players. The money and everything he promised them was done just 2 days before the league started. Is this a factor for the players, or they just want to start the season and see how they can defend the title they won for the very first time?
I think for me, Aqua United, they've been able in the past 5 years to develop a philosophy that irrespective of who adorns that jersey, they get the job done. At the same time, so much is expected of that team. The fans saw the team win the first NPFL title last season. They are yearning for more, and I think that Coach Kennedy Boboye should retain that title with the lads. Also significant is the fact that they should not forget that the likes of Willie Sanda, Kefion, and Chasa Simene, these are three key players that really helped them last season. Unfortunately, they've moved for greener pastures. So I think, in my opinion, the fans are expecting so much, but that expectation should go in line with the reality. So I think that they should not expect so much. Instead of putting the team under pressure, they should allow them just get the job done.
Okay,
you're right.
I love that.
I mean, and it's not been a bad start. It's been quite decent for Aqua United. 1 win and a draw away from home. So let's see how they do against Gombe United. Promise, I'm sure you'll be the first to agree as well that the star matchup of today surely has to be between the People's Elephants, Enyimba, and Rivers United.
I agree with you. That's the biggest of the fixtures this weekend, this particular match day 3. The reason being that the rivalry between Rivers United and Enyimba it's so tensed. Building up from that last season, what happened in the CAF Confederations Cup between both sides, it didn't really go down well with them. And this season again, Rivers United struggled. They could not make it through to the group stage of the CAF Confederations Cup, being down state first in the CAF Champions League. And Enyimba agonizingly also missed out of an opportunity by virtue of that draw held yesterday by the Confederation of African Football. So these are big sides. The rivalry is so intense whenever they meet. And I think for Rivers United, they will really want to go out there to prove to Enyimba that they are still a great side and they can get the job done any day and time. And Enyimba, Finidi George has done a great job with Enyimba. 5 to 6 games without any defeat in all competition. I mean, that late winner against Rangers International in Newi was very sublime, if you ask me. That's a sort of confidence you need in a team going into a very important match like this against Rivers United. So I'm of the opinion that this will be a cracker of a match between Rivers United, Enyimba and Rivers United. But again, this game will be won on the bench. Will be won from the bench, rather, sorry, because the managers need to do something extraordinary. Because if you talk about the playing personnel, Rafi has scored 3 goals for Rivers United this season. I mean, he's red hot, very, very lethal going forward for Rivers United. Enyimba have also got a bunch of talent that can also deliver any day and time. So in terms of the playing personnel, I think there's a balance between both sides. But what is very significant for me is what the coaches will be able to do from the bench, because I think anyone that gets the upper hand technically will definitely win this game.
Tran and Stanley going up against Finidi George. That should be very fascinating to watch those two coaches on the sidelines. There's also Remo Stars. Let's talk about Remo Stars. They take on Nassau United. 2 wins out of 2. First of all, are you surprised with the way they started the season?
Well, I think Remo Stars has been very fantastic. Not minding the fact that they are coming into the NPFL, returning to the NPFL after spending some time in the lower ebb of professional football. I think I'm impressed with what Remo Stars have been able to do. Got a smashing 2-0 win over MFM of Lagos in the first match of the campaign, and also defeated their opponent on match day 2, Hadland FC, thrashing them 3-0. I think Remo Stars is really a side to look forward to, if you ask me. And today against Nassau United is a very formidable side. Remember, they were still able to keep the services of the likes of Silas Nwangwo, who was very prolific for them last season. And also, they've been able to bring in 1 or 2 players that can add value to that team. I think it's going to be a cracker of a match, and to really test Remo Stars' resolve to really pitch themselves out there with the big boys. I grade Nassau United as one of the teams in the top 5 in terms of ranking in the NPFL. So if Remo Stars are able to get the better of them today, that will be so much of a big statement by the newcomers to the NPFL.
We'll see if they can get their third straight win in the league. I promise, Etimon, thank you so much for taking our time to join us this morning.
In the league. I promise, Etimon, thank you so much for taking our time to join us this morning. Thank you. I wish all the teams the best today.
All right, and hopefully Aqua United can get a win with all the pressure that is on that team. Well, I don't envy them at all. We need to go on a break. When we come back, of course, the Nations Cup will get our attention. And welcome back. Okay, you guys can talk to us on, send us an email at sportthismorning@channelstv.com. And of course, it's going to be all about the Super Eagles. The camp opens today, and it's 11 days to go. And you heard from Coach Augustine Eguavoin talking about the team having sleepless nights and feeling that the squad we have can go all the way in AFCON, but he believes the team will not struggle. He's going to also be talking about the wing play and the style of play. So send us an email. What you think the Super Eagles can achieve at the Nations Cup? It's just 11 days to go. No time for much friendly. We know that Lex of Sudan is in our group. We'll be playing Ethiopia in one of the friendlies. And of course, Guinea-Bissau are also on range is something. The Pharaohs of Egypt, we haven't heard anything from them. But government is hoping that we can play maybe one or two friendlies. We heard a story that they're talking to Cameroonian club side, Cotton Sports. Maybe that can happen for the Eagles to at least just get something, a competitive game before they face their first opponent, which is the Pharaohs of Egypt. So send us email and tell us what you think about this particular squad. In the studio right now, we've got Demola Ogumbono joining us. Demola, good morning. Season's greetings.
Season's greetings to you, Asisi. Good morning, Tayo.
Yes, good to see you.
Yeah, you too. We didn't see you last week, Tayo. I was around last week and then went around.
Yeah, he was on the sideline too.
A little injury, nothing too serious.
You're back fully fit
Didn't
now
require
and
any
ready
surgery.
to go. Nice.
I'm good to go.
Nice.
I've been good to go,
Good to
actually.
see you again.
All right,
We're looking at two teams today. That's we'll conclude our AFCON focus for the whole teams that are taking part, the 16 teams. And the last one we have Mauritania. And of course, we also have Tunisia. These are the last two teams we'll be talking about today. For Mauritania, they're also called the Lions of Chinquart. Okay, what a name. They ranked 103rd in the world and has featured 3 times at the competition. But then they've never really done anything. Just come and go. One of those teams that will come, complete the numbers, and go back home just the 3 times they've been there. For Tunisia, they're called, of course, the Carthage Eagles. We'll talk, I mean, you have so many Eagles, but you have just one Super Eagles. So Carthage Eagles is Tunisia's nickname. They ranked 30th in the world. Unfortunately, they're ranked above the Super Eagles. Okay.
Yeah, say it with your chest and say it very, very convincing.
They've made 20 appearances at the competition and they've won a title just once. That was in 2004. So Tunisia is another team to watch out for those who are contending for the title. For Mauritania, although as I mentioned earlier, they just come complete the numbers. But for Tunisia, that's a team to watch out for. But then today we're talking about the Super. Let me ask your opinion. Mauritania, yeah. Not much, but Tunisia, of course. You want to look at that team a little bit?
Of course.
I mean, absolutely. They are one-time champion. They have decent players. Very strong league as well. All the players, the players that play in the league always do well in the CAF or CAF Confederations Cup. So Tunisia always going to be there. They play very, very good football, attractive football. And the North Americans, the North Africans rather, they always come good when it comes to club competitions in Africa. You expect them to do much better as well, in the Nations Cup. I think they'll be there and about and give, a few teams, a good run for their money. Indeed.
You were talking about the Sudan playing in the Arab Cup and using the opportunity to get ready for the AFCON. You can say the same thing about Tunisia as well. So as a matter of fact, they went all the way to the final, right, against Algeria. So they're a good team. They're a team that look ready. They might not have the biggest names when it comes to football in Europe.
Yes.
But as a team, as a collective.
As a collective, because yes, they don't have big names in the big clubs like you have, for the Mane and the Salahs and the, Nigeria. But they have decent players and decent club sides, all over Africa. And as a collective, they always come good when it comes to football in Africa, and I expect them to go all the way. They have good preparation in the just concluded Arab Cup that just finished a good run into the finals. And you expect them to take that momentum, that form into the Nations Cup. So you expect good things from them, definitely.
Indeed.
The team.
Carry on.
Yeah, I'm just talking about those teams that really went to the Arab Nations World Cup will be the teams to really watch out for. You've got Tunisia, you've got Algeria, especially those two teams that got to the finals. The fact that they had players that were able to play that and all the way to the finals, so they're not going to be complaining. I mean, talking about releasing players or anything, and even Egypt, even they don't have a Mo Salah. Yes, of course they need Mo Salah, but for them to have been able to play, in the Arab Cup, tells you how prepared these teams are. So the other teams that didn't have a chance to be there or play any competitive game, well, you have to think of what to do to ensure that synergy is just within the team. That's why I love what our coach Austin Eguavoen did. When people were saying, what's the difference between what Raw did and what he had done? I mean, when you have a compact team that have been together, you wouldn't want to bring any player to maybe want to scuttle what he's been planning. But the bulk of the players he's brought to camp are those that he had with Coach Gennett Rowe, which is a good one. Manuel Dennis was part of squad once, but then Manuel Dennis coming in, and then you have Nsa. I mean, the former player of Aqua United, Olisa Nda, coming in also into the squad. So he didn't really change anything. So it shows that these players, they've been together, they played the World Cup qualifiers, they played the Nations Cup qualifiers, and now going into, the main competitions. But the difference is there's a different coach who might want to use a different approach. And that's why people are thinking, can you bring back the wing play?
We've gone from the Carthage Eagles to the Super Eagles. What are you doing? Come on. No, but seriously, before we leave the Carthage Eagles, I just want to say the coach, interestingly, despite having the opportunity to name 28 players, decided to name 18. Like, nah, give me 18, we're good to go. What do you make of that?
No, I think for him, he's sure of what he has on ground. What he has on ground. And I mean, if a coach says, I'm going with my 18, I don't want to,
It's risky.
I don't need...
See, I want to believe.
Injuries, COVID.
I want to believe he knows what he's doing. At the end of the day, it's just going to be 11 players on the pitch. Yes. Now you have 18, and he's confident that those guys going there are going to do the job for him. So I mean, I want to believe that the coach knows what he's doing.
Absolutely.
Do you know the different style?
Let's see.
That's like a 10.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, of course, that's what it is. 10. Yeah, but he just mentioned now that you have 11 players on the pitch, 7 extras.
Seven extras.
And he has seen everything at the Arab Cup, so he feels, okay, these are the players, these are the ones that
exactly, so why bring 28 to Cameroon again? Anyways, Tunisia will start their AFCON campaign. It's going to be on January the 12th against Mali. Eagles, right?
Yeah. Wow. Eagles, the Carthage Eagles.
All these Eagles. All the Eagles with Mali.
Like Sisi said, just one Super Eagles.
Just one Super Eagles. Anyways.
And that's why we're superior.
All right, good.
3 times champ, big.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, let's go to the Super Eagles now.
Okay, Super Eagles right now. So let's listen to Coach Austin Eguavoen talking about the reason why Super Eagles may not be able to play the style that the Nigerians really want, because you need players to be able to play such positions.
When you talk about wing play, like people are clamoring for, yes, why not? That's always been our tradition. But whereby you don't have the Finidis and the Amunikes and the Elahos, or Degbamis from wing play, how do you achieve that? But we have to try to be flexible as well, And yes, we have these kids now from Villarreal, Chukwueze, we have Simon. Yes, going forward, they can be explosive. But what about defending? We're talking about wing players, offensively going, but you have to do a defensive job as well. But that's not to say, yes, we have to rule that out completely. You have to be flexible in style of play as well. If you adopt a 4-4-2, and then your opponent are able to counter you, what do you not do? You try to do what? A bit, you have to find other ways. Yeah, it depends on who you're playing against. Probably your opponent at another point in time, the way they set up, that's exactly what he reacted to.
Flexibility, that's what is important. You don't have to have a particular style of play, but you can be flexible depending on the opponent. I mean, Austin Eguavoen, a very intelligent coach, kind of nailed it for me. What do you think? I
mean, I agree with him. You have to, depending on the opponent, you're playing against, you have to adapt and be flexible with your approach, with your system. You don't just get stuck on and say, okay, this is what you don't have to be rigid when it comes to your style of play. Let it be dependent on your position. I mean, I was reading some of his comments a few days ago that he has been listening and watching a whole lot of coaches and trying to learn and adapt. He's been there before. He's done that. He's taken up the Super Eagles to, I think it was Egypt almost 15 years ago, and he got to the semi-finals to the finals or semis. I'm not sure now.
Yeah, got bronze. Yeah,
he's been there. Yeah, he's been there. He's done that. So he should have been able to learn, and he's been in the background when Raw was there as well. So going into this competition, you want to expect that he will bring all his experience to bear, bring them to the fore, and let the Eagles do what tire.
No, land. Let
Eagles. I think we stand a good chance. I'm not saying we'll go there and win, but want to see a different kind of play. I mean, on the Raw, no disrespect to the man, maybe that was his own position, that's how he knows how to do. But want to see some exciting football. You know, I think we have the players that can do this job for us. So let's see what Austin Eguavoen can do with the Super Eagles going forward.
All right. Fair enough. So on the Raw had a preferred system of playing 4-2-3-1 most of the times. Towards the end of his tenure, though, he changed. We saw a few changes. Exactly, we saw 4-3, and all of that. We saw 2 strikers at times as well. But typically, Nigeria back then used to play the 4-4-2. 4 defenders, 4 midfielders, 2 wingers in those 4, and 2 strikers. With the players that we have now, the personnel that you've seen in the 28. Do you think that's something he should explore perhaps going forward? Because look at the strikers we're going to the World Cup. You only don't want to play one of those guys. You want to play at least 2 of them.
2 strikers, yes. I think 2 strikers will bode well for us, and thankfully we have Chukwueze, who is back now. But my problem is because we know Chukwueze to want to dribble and cut in, and it's not the time of the kind of player that want to put crosses
into the box
for strikers like Osimhen. If he's going to be there, I hope he's going to be there, because he's going to be a huge miss if he's not there. I hope that for Nigeria's sake and for his sake as well, that he's going to be there. But then the problem I have with people like Chukwueze, fantastic player, no doubt. I only wish that he would look up more and put process. He can do the job on his own, no doubt. He's a fantastic talent. He should be calmer and always look up and put the ball to the strikers every once in a while. I'm not saying do that all the time. I think we'll have a better shot doing that.
That's interesting. So let's say Osimhen is going to go to the AFCON. So that's one striker. Obviously, is going to start. Who would you like to see play alongside Victor Osimhen?
It's really tough, Tayo.
But I'm asking you,
Dennis is doing fantastic.
Surely Dennis, right?
Yeah, and the coach is beginning to lament now that one of his best players, having to leave for the AFCON. But I think Dennis is, he's been fantastic, very strong. His work rate is really good, and that is what I always look forward to in strikers. Let me see your work rate. Let me see your attitude and your positional play on the pitch. Osimhen gives everything on the pitch. He might not score goals all the time, but he's always driving, always fighting. You need that kind of striker. And then for Awoni as well, who has been fantastic, no doubt, for Union Berlin. Igalo is going to be there. So the list is there.
The sport
for choice there. So going forward, I think we're very, very sound, very, very solid. Defensively as well, it's our defense I'm not so comfortable with. But I hope that they can put things in place and give us a good showing at the AFCON tile.
That's what all of us are hoping for. I mean, you just mentioned the firepower we have up front, but then at the back, it'll be shaky. But I know, as Tayo mentioned, if what we know Eguavoen 4-4-2, that's what he's going to play. But I think the midfielders will obviously want to assist the defenders, because the combination of Troost-Ekong and Leon Balogun, I'm sorry to say this, is no longer working. Before it was, the Igbo world really worked for the Super Eagles. But right now, it seems these players, I don't know if it's distraction or something, so that partnership is a bit shaky. But if you have Kenneth Omeru, who knows how to stabilize, the team, maybe we might just have a better back four if he's playing with the team.
That's another interesting something to look forward to in terms of the playing personnel. Who's Eguavoen going to select on that role? Like you said, there's been Troost and Leon. As long as they fit, they're playing, right? But we've seen what has happened in recent times. They're not in the best of forms.
That's all.
So we'll see whether Eguavoen would actually bring in. You mentioned Kenneth already, or it's going to stick with the
usual.
With the guys,
Well, let's see what he's going to do. Well, he's having sleepless nights, man. I don't envy him at all. No. The whole nation is on your head, and NFF has confirmed that he is the one taking the Super Eagles to the Nations Cup. The other coach that may be unveiled in January will just go there and see the team play. So he's the one taking it. He's the one having sleepless nights. So support and prayers for him, definitely, at this moment. So let's leave the Super Eagles now and talk about the English Premier League, of course. Games played last night. Leicester City, after they endured with a miserable night against Manchester City, losing 6-3, they were able to beat Liverpool. And Liverpool right now losing ground for their title chase. So Man City still 6 point clear. Liverpool couldn't close the gap. They needed a win to close the gap to 3, but they just couldn't, because you have Demola Lookman, who came off the bench. He's a loanee from RB Leipzig. Man, he had a fantastic run, and he gave them that victory. Okay, you've seen pictures from that. Okay, remember, we just quickly talk about this game before we look at other results. Mo Salah missed that penalty. He didn't miss it because Kasma
saved it.
I mean, he saved it, and there was a rebound, and he tried to head it. He hit the post with it, and his leg touched it, but it just wasn't his day.
And
when was the last time Mo Salah missed a penalty?
4 years ago, 4 years ago.
2017, right?
4 years ago, that was the last time he missed a penalty.
The second ever penalty is missed.
Is missed for Liverpool.
It's called 15 in a row.
That's a massive run.
It was bound to happen.
It was at some point.
And I'm happy it happened against Leicester.
And then you wonder what could have been if only he had scored that goal. Maybe the outcome of the game would have been different, because credit to Leicester City. I mean, they had six players or 6 defenders out. They had to.
Indeed, he's not a defender.
And they considered the penalty. Daniel Amati as well. 2 central midfielders, becoming a defender last night, and you thought, Liverpool is just going to take them apart.
That's what I thought when I saw Virgil van Dijk, Matip, they're all returning. I thought maybe we were going to tear them apart.
But then credit to Leicester City and to James Maddison as well, dictating all the play for Leicester yesterday. After losing 6-3 to Manchester City just 2 days ago, you expect that Liverpool, part the pressure on Man City and try to, stay there and about when it comes to winning the league. But then losing ground on Manchester City now, will have a game in hand. They will go 9 points clear if they win tonight against Brentford. I mean, that's a huge, huge mountain for Liverpool to climb and to make sure that the win that league is going to be tough going forward for them.
It's going to be tough. Fantastic victory for Leicester City, for Ademola Lookman to focus on him. It's the first time he's scoring in consecutive Premier League games, the first time in his career, and he's done it against City and Liverpool. They don't come bigger than that.
Bigger than that, yeah. Right, so he can stay against the big team. That's what the team's playing.
Yes. Let's get the post-game thoughts now, starting with Brendan Rodgers.
Keep a clean sheet against Liverpool if everyone's not working. And I think, as you say, the context of it as well, Rob, on the back of a really tiresome game against Manchester City. It was a heroic effort by the players to keep a clean sheet and get the win. Liverpool and Chelsea are have got physicality, real physicality in the team. Manchester City have, but they play a more positioning game. So those 3 teams are incredibly strong. And I think it'll be a real fight right towards the end. But Liverpool have got amazing players, amazing talent. They've been there before now. They've won the Premier League. They know what it takes to win it. So they're going to be very close to doing it, I'm sure.
Brendan Rodgers are obviously very delighted with the performance. He's actually labelled it a heroic performance against the Reds. And that's
because, club, yeah?
And that's because of the issues that they have. I mean, you talked about Ndidi already, partnering Amati. Those guys are midfielders.
Center defenders.
Liverpool had 4 days extra rest. These guys have played. This is a 3rd match in 7 days, and they still managed to get a win. They've been on a downward slide, and this is just a lift up the bump for them, and big win for Leicester City, no doubt.
Let's see, the Foxes having a good time.
Yeah, obviously. And of course, for Liverpool, who spectated for Jurgen Klopp, he said it wasn't really a good day for the players. They missed a lot of chances. Sadio Mane missed, Mo Salah also missed, including that penalty. And this is their first loss in 11 games. So really, he's not taking it lightly at all, especially losing ground on the title race.
It was not our plan tonight to make it, to give City the chance to run away or whatever. But if we play like tonight, we don't have to think about catching up with City. But if we play normal football, we can win football games. Then we have to see how often, how many points we can get, and then we will see what that means. But how's that? I don't have a proper explanation for tonight, but to find this explanation is my main concern, and not in this moment the gap to City. I wouldn't have liked the game anyway. So then you can say these things like, yes, when the dirty games are very important. It's all true, but no, tonight I didn't like a lot in our football game, to be honest. And that's not cool. That's not why we do it. So we have to do better, and we have a few days to talk it through, think it through, improve, and go again.
He can't find explanation for that. Chelsea is next on Sunday. I believe he'll be able to get more explanation and how to tell the players how to bounce back from this defeat and see how they can beat Chelsea and maybe close the gap on the title race. But if Man City wins tonight, oh, well, it's halfway to the season already. We need to go on a break. When we come back, we'll just take a look at other games that were played and also the games for today. And Ferran Torres is already a Barcelona player.
Welcome back to Channel Sport this morning. Now, we're still talking about the English Premier League. Antonio Conte is still undefeated in the Premier League as the Spurs boss 2 valuable points dropped against Southampton yesterday at the Saints. Mary's James Ward-Prowse giving the Saints a fantastic lead. They went down to 10 men in the first half. Salisu getting sent off. Harry Kane converted the penalty, and you thought Tottenham were going to go ahead and take advantage of the extra man, but it wasn't meant to be. Southampton dug really deep. Defensive performance was very commendable, and that match ended 1 apiece. And on the surface, it looks like a good point away from home for Tottenham, but the bigger picture, come on, they should be winning games like this.
They should be winning games like this. But credit to Hasenhuttl and Southampton. You know, I think they've come. I think they won the last match 3-2 against Crystal Palace. Fantastic, and they took that form into this game as well. You could see the coach on the on the touchline, very feisty and fair. He got a yellow for his troubles. So you could tell that his players are going to be up for it. They were all up in the faces of Tottenham, not giving them any spaces at all. And I think I kind of saw the red card for Salisu coming after getting that yellow card. You know, the referee has warned him like a couple of times before, and then he considered a penalty to give Tottenham an equalizer in Tottenham. Tottenham are going to coast, all the way, saying that under Conte, they've, massively improved. This is their, I think, is the first coach in Tottenham Hotspur history
to go unbeaten in 7
games. You expect that, they will come good and, but I think he shot himself in the foot starting daily earlier. I don't think he should have, I don't think he should have started early. I don't think he should have started. It was really poor in the game. I think he should have really started the Brazilian, Lucas Moura. But credit to Southampton, solid defensive display. They needed that point. They need it for their confidence as well. And, credit to them. Of course, Tottenham will feel, hard done by those goals, especially those are very tight,
offside call
for Harry Kane. And then the goalkeeper dropping the ball again. I don't think that was, I don't think it was any, foul play on the goalkeeper. But then the referee thought otherwise. Of course, I will feel hard done by, but I think. Fantastic point for Southampton, and the totally, deserved their point.
In conclusion, the referee made the headline.
He did.
Referees, come on, guys, consistency matters.
That's what we asked for.
We're never going to get consistency because they're humans. They're different.
They have the VAR to assist there.
But some of them don't even want to use the VAR.
Exactly, For that goal, I mean, the goalkeeper dropped the ball. I mean, it was very. Nobody touched him.
The Doherty actually you know,
He was
made
contesting
contact.
for the ball.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. You could
Backing the goalkeeper.
Yeah, you
He
could,
dropped the ball.
you could argue that
That
it's
should
a
have been a
flaw, but it was
goal.
a very soft one. I agree with where you're coming
You know,
from. Very
but
soft.
hey,
But,
you know,
Yeah,
is
it was
what
they
soft,
give us
yeah.
something to talk about here and there, don't they?
Yeah, that's why they're the ones making the headlines.
All right, guys.
Okay, we've got other results for you, right? Crystal Palace back to winning ways, especially after losing to Tottenham. They beat Norwich City 3-0. And Watford and West Ham ended 4-1. Watford scored first. And Emmanuel Dennis, the guy that will be missing from January 3rd, gave them the only goal they scored. Was West Ham got upset.
What a goal that was.
And he put
fantastic strike. It was a waste.
Yeah, it was a waste, because after that, West Ham woke up and they beat them 4-1. These are the results for Emmanuel Dennis sending signals. I'm happy that our strikers are scoring. Emmanuel Dennis scoring, Kelechi Iheanacho scoring, Odiengalo scoring. Good one.
All right. So that's the Premier League games that played yesterday. Tonight, action will continue. We'll get to see City looking to go 9 points clear. I don't think there's anyone that would bet against City, absolutely getting all the points against Brentford. But we'll see. We'll see how that pans out. There's also Chelsea taking on Brighton. Romelu Lukaku is back. Chelsea should go on a nice little run as well too now. They struggled without Lukaku, without that focal points. And we saw the impact he made against Villa at the weekend. All right, before we look at the papers, a surprising piece of news, transfer news for a lot of people. Ferran Torres is a destination. And are you surprised by this move at all? He barely spends a couple of seasons.
Not necessarily surprised. You know, he's going back to Spain, his home country.
And why did he come before?
He fancies his chances when he wants consistent play, and he wants to be back in the Spanish team as well. He wants to his family. So I can, you know,
you can see why.
I can see reasons why we want to go. Yeah.
Even though he just joined the club just recently. Anyways, so that's the story. Ferran Torres, of course, already training with his new teammates in Barcelona. Of course, there's that the premature retirement of Sergio Kun Aguero as well too. Might just be the opportunity for Torres to stake a claim.
I'm sure Xavi Hernandez will be happy about this one, having someone at least to rely on that can score goals.
Someone asked me why did Barca get 15
the 15 million? Yeah, I mean, I asked the question too.
But apparently they've taken a loan now.
They've taken a loan together because Barcelona, oh dear. They have just 1.35 billion euros
in debt. Wow.
That's
but
crazy.
The good thing is Barca have got all these assets that they can easily use to service their debts and loans eventually. Anyways,
43 appearances, 16 goals for Man City. That's from August last year till now, I think.
And he's not a bad
return. He's not a striker.
I think it will come good for Barcelona. He's a fantastic talent, no doubt. So with all the chances Barcelona create, you expect Ferran Torres to put the goals on the back of the net. So fantastic by Barcelona.
They're lacking confidence right now in front of goals, so they'll need someone who can really put the ball in. So time to take a look at the papers now. I'll start with Sporting Sun. Yes, so start with Sporting Sun here. Osimhen may not kick ball, even if
goes to AFCON.
All right.
What's the point?
Villarreal delays Chukwueze's camp arrival. Interesting. Spanish league is on break. So what's happening there?
Who's that?
Chukwueze.
Yeah.
I mean, Villarreal delaying camp arrival.
Yeah, we don't know why.
Okay, we'll find out. It's on Sporting Sun. Conte breaks Tottenham's record. That's the record you talked about, 7 games without losing anyone. Hamann claims first win in 4 games. 5 home-based Eagles. 5 home-based players to hit Super Eagles camp. I'm trying to look at where this... Okay, all right. That's on Sporting Sun here.
Still,
Igalo heads the Eagles camp. Saudi top scorer. Interesting. Leicester eyes... Aribo. I'm going to like this one.
That'll be good.
That'll be good, right?
Yeah.
Sevilla makes loan offer for Martial.
Martial.
Thierry Henry that didn't come to be.
Future Ballon d'Or. No, but seriously. Okay, let's go to. Is there any more you want to take on Sporting?
Okay, Haaland prefers La Liga move to EPL. Yes, he was going to go to Real Madrid. I know that.
Of course, of course.
That's just praying that move. And Gary Neville is saying Pochettino is still my favorite for My United job. Can these guys just stop talking?
Come on, Gary's already given stick to Ranić already. It's not even giving him any time to, settle in properly.
I honestly think that this former club legend should just take it easy and just, take a back seat and let these coaches do their thing. Yeah.
But they're pundits now these days, so they've got to talk.
So they have to talk.
Yeah, but they should just be more.
There's so many interesting stories on Sporting Life.
Yeah, let's go to Sporting Life quickly. Qatar 2022 World Cup. New Eagles manager to arrive on January the 2nd. NFF to announce coach on Thursday. That's going to be on January the 6th. Portuguese will be in Cameroon as an observer. What do you make of that? Yeah, you've nodded, so I'm saying that's meaning it's okay.
Yeah, I mean it's because there were reports earlier that he would take over, for.
Nah, that was never going to happen.
I mean, those were the reports we were hearing, but I think it's better if he goes to AFCON, take a backseat, observe, and watch and see what you can do, and for the qualifiers for the World Cup.
That's a sensible thing to do. Still in Sporting Life, Dennis scores the 8th goal of the season. What a fantastic season he's having. 8 goals, 5 assists. Only Mo Salah has had more goal involvement than Emmanuel Dennis. Is an absolute menace to the Premier League defenders. Newcastle join race to sign Aubameyang. Haaland is tipped to join to break all of the records. Okay, of course. Man United rejects Sevilla's loan offer for Martial. I was going to another Martial story. So I was going to talk about Martial. A couple of years ago, they said all he needed was a coach with an arm around the shoulder, an attacking coach to let this guy go on. Jose was killing his career. Pretty much that's what it was now. 2-3 years down the line now, he says he wants to leave Manchester United. So Jose vindicated once again.
Yes.
And to think that it was record signing for a teenager back in the day, Antonio Martial, that is. I think Man should just cut their losses and let the young man leave if he wants to leave. I don't think he cuts it really at Manchester United. He's got only 75 goals in almost 7 years. I mean, that's just not good enough. I mean, big things were expected from Antonio Martial, and if he wants to leave to go play straight someplace else, I think they should just let the young man be.
Yeah, it's come out to tell him. It's got to go. Guinea military president, win Nations Cup, or reform. What's that?
Okay, let me help you out. Guinea military president, win Nations Cup, or refund our money.
What Nations Cup?
The one that will be hosted in Cameroon. Thank you so much for coming on the program.
That's on the light side.
Thank you so much for having me, Tayo and Sisi.
Thank you. Thank you all for watching as well. Enjoy the rest of your day.
I'm Cecilia Mogbe. It's over, so back to work. Thank you so much for watching. See you tomorrow.